This 28-year-old teacher sexually assaulted the 15-year-old student. She was so obsessed with him that even on her wedding day, she was locked in the bathroom crying about this 15-year-old boy.
You're Christina?
Yes.
Okay, Christina, do me a favor. Can you step out of the car for me? I know you're confused. I'll explain everything to you. I do have to put you in handcuffs and bring you to the police department. Just a downers room.
Handcuffs?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
I'm like willing to go with you.
I get it, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do it that way.
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm so lost right now. I'm
gonna put your seatbelt on. Unless are you able to reach it down there? Sure you don't want a tissue or something?
I'm feeling I'm gonna throw up.
A bag?
Yes, please.
Alright.
Christina Formella appeared to have everything going for her. Born on December the 29th, 1994, she grew up in what seemed like a picture-perfect suburban environment. During her high school years, Christina was the kind of student every parent would be proud of, popular among her peers, athletic and academically driven. She excelled on the soccer field, earning recognition as a standout player on her high school team. Her athletic prowess was so impressive that she secured a soccer scholarship to college, where she pursued her passion for education by majoring in the field. Christina's dream was crystal clear from an early age. She wanted to dedicate her life to teaching children with special needs. There was something deeply meaningful to her about working with vulnerable students who required extra support and understanding. She often spoke about wanting to create a safe haven for these children, to be the adult they could trust and rely on. It's a tragic irony that would later become apparent the very person who claimed to want to protect vulnerable children would become their predator. During her college years, Christina met Michael, a man who seemed genuinely smitten with her. Their relationship blossomed throughout their university days, and Michael appeared to be head over heels in love with the ambitious, caring woman he saw in Christina. She had successfully crafted an image of herself as someone dedicated to helping others, someone with a pure heart and noble intentions. Michael bought into this image completely, seeing in Christina the woman he wanted to spend his life with. After graduating from college, Christina began her career in education as a teacher's aide, gaining valuable experience working directly with students while she worked toward her ultimate goal. Her relationship with Michael continued to flourish, and he eventually proposed. The couple began planning what they envisioned as their dream wedding, a romantic destination ceremony in Italy, surrounded by their closest friends and family. Everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place for Christina. In 2020, Christina's persistence and dedication finally paid off when she landed her dream position at Downers Grove South High School, located in the suburbs outside of Chicago. She was hired as a special education teacher, the exact role she had been working toward for years. But her involvement with the school didn't stop there. Christina also took on the additional responsibility of coaching both the boys' and girls' soccer teams, allowing her to combine her love of the sport with her commitment to working with young people. By all external appearances, Christina Formella was living the perfect life. At 28 years old, she had achieved her professional dreams, was engaged to a man who adored her, and was planning a beautiful destination wedding in Italy. She was making a difference in the lives of students with special needs while also coaching soccer, another passion of hers. To anyone looking from the outside, Christina had it all: the career, the relationship, the future plans, and the respect of her community. However, everything began to unravel in 2023 when Christina became fixated on one particular student. There was a boy on the soccer team she coached who caught her attention in a way that would prove to be devastating for everyone involved. The student, whose identity has been protected throughout the legal proceedings, was only 15 years old, a full 13 years younger than Christina, who was approaching her 29th birthday. For the purposes of this story, we'll refer to him as Jacob, though that is not his real name. The student suffered a serious sports injury that effectively ended his soccer career, at least temporarily. For most coaches, this would have been a moment to offer support and encouragement while respecting appropriate boundaries. But for Christina, the realization that she wouldn't see this particular student at soccer practice anymore triggered something deeply disturbing. Rather than accepting the natural end of their coach-student relationship, she became determined to find ways to maintain contact with him. Christina's solution was calculated and manipulative. She approached the injured student and offered to become his tutor, presenting this as an act of kindness and academic support. In reality, it was a carefully orchestrated plan to create opportunities for one-on-one time with the teenager. The tutoring arrangement gave Christina exactly what she was seeking: legitimate reasons to be alone with this 15-year-old boy on a regular basis. Nearly every day after school, the two would meet for these tutoring sessions, creating a pattern that would become the foundation for what prosecutors would later describe as a systematic pattern of abuse. Initially, Christina maintained the pretense of a professional tutoring relationship. She was friendly and encouraging, presenting herself as a caring teacher who wanted to help him succeed academically despite his sports injury. However, it wasn't long before her behavior began to shift from friendly to flirtatious. The relationship reportedly began through a school messaging platform, which gave Christina access to the students' contact information in what appeared to be a legitimate educational context. The progression from professional communication to personal contact was gradual but deliberate. Christina was acutely aware that the school's messaging platform was monitored by administrators and board members. She understood that excessive messaging with a single student would likely trigger an investigation after all. As the adult and educator in the situation, she was fully aware of the policies and consequences that would follow if inappropriate communications were discovered. This knowledge led Christina to carefully orchestrate a situation that would allow her to obtain the student's personal phone number without raising suspicions. During one of their after-school tutoring sessions, the teenager pulled out his phone and began playing a mobile game. Christina, recognizing an opportunity, showed interest in what he was doing. "Oh, that looks like a cool game. What is that?" she asked, peering over at his screen. The student, unsuspecting of any ulterior motives, eagerly explained the game to his teacher. He told her the name and described how it worked, pleased to share something he enjoyed with an adult who seemed genuinely interested. "Oh my God, that's so cool. I want to play that game too," Christina responded enthusiastically. She immediately downloaded the game onto her own phone, then posed what seemed like an innocent question. "Is there a way for us to play together on this game?" The teenager explained that players could only connect and play together if they had each other's phone numbers. The game required contact information to link accounts and enable multiplayer features. "What if you took down my phone number, and I took down your phone number, and then we'd be able to play with each other on this game?" Christina suggested, presenting the exchange as purely game-related. From the student's perspective, this seemed like a completely innocent interaction. His teacher was showing interest in something he enjoyed, and they had already developed a rapport through their daily one-on-one tutoring sessions. There was an established trust between them, and the idea of playing a game together outside of school hours appeared harmless, perhaps even flattering, that an adult wanted to engage with his interests. However, Christina's motivations were far more calculated. As the adult in the situation, she understood exactly what she was doing. By obtaining his personal phone number under the pretense of gaming, she had successfully circumvented the school's monitoring systems. She now had direct, private access to communicate with the teenager without any oversight from school administrators or board members who might flag inappropriate content. Once she had his number, the boundaries began to dissolve completely. The conversations they began having had nothing to do with the game she had initially expressed interest in playing. What started as what appeared to be innocent gaming coordination quickly escalated to daily text messaging and FaceTime calls that extended late into the evening. These weren't brief, academic-focused conversations. Instead, Christina began engaging the teenager in lengthy, personal discussions that had nothing to do with his education. She would text him and video call him every single night, creating an inappropriate level of intimacy and dependency. The content of these communications became increasingly flirtatious and suggestive, crossing every professional and legal boundary that should have existed between a teacher and her student. It was allegedly during one of these calls that Christina began discussing explicit sexual activities they would engage in together, describing in graphic detail what she wanted to do to him and what she wanted him to do. To her, the most disturbing aspect of this escalation was that it was happening while Christina was living with her fiancé Michael, the man she was planning to marry in just a few weeks. While Michael believed he was sharing his home with his loving future wife, Christina was actually spending her evenings engaged in inappropriate conversations with a child. The duplicity required to maintain this double life speaks to a level of manipulation and deception that goes far beyond a momentary lapse in judgment. Following these explicit phone conversations, the digital relationship progressed to physical contact within just a couple of days. Christina and the student made plans to meet at school before classes began, setting the stage for what would become a systematic pattern of sexual abuse. School security footage would later reveal the calculated nature of their encounter. Both Christina and Jacob arrived at Downers Grove South High School significantly earlier than normal school hours. The footage shows Christina entering her classroom first, with Jacob following closely behind her. Most tellingly, the video captures Christina deliberately closing and likely locking the classroom door behind them, ensuring their privacy for what was about to occur. According to police reports, it was during this carefully orchestrated meeting that Christina first sexually assaulted Jacob in December 2023. The location she chose for this assault makes the crime even more heinous. It occurred in her special education classroom, the same space where she was supposed to be providing support and safety to vulnerable children with disabilities. The assault happened early in the morning, before other students and staff arrived at school. Christina had carefully planned this encounter, coordinating the timing through their private communications and ensuring they would have privacy with minimal risk of being discovered. Jacob would later describe how she removed his clothing and sexually assaulted him on a desk, the same desk where, just hours later, another child with special needs would be sitting, trying to learn and feeling safe in what should have been a protected educational environment. The violation of this space is particularly significant because it represents everything that Christina claimed to stand for. She had built her entire career around the premise of protecting and nurturing vulnerable children, yet she chose to commit this assault in the very classroom where she was supposed to be providing that protection. The psychological damage of this betrayal cannot be overstated, not just to her direct victim, but to every student who had trusted her to provide a safe learning environment. As the relationship continued, the teenage victim eventually turned 16. Shortly after his birthday, he began showing interest in a girl his own age, a completely normal and healthy development for a teenager. However, Christina's reaction to this natural adolescent behavior revealed the true nature of her obsession and the distorted way she viewed their relationship. Rather than recognizing that a teenager showing interest in peers his own age was normal and healthy, Christina flew into a rage. She was consumed with jealousy and possessiveness, treating the situation as if she were being cheated on by a romantic partner rather than recognizing herself as an adult who had been abusing a child. The level of delusion required to view a 16-year-old's age-appropriate interest in a peer as cheating demonstrates how completely Christina had lost sight of reality and appropriate boundaries. Her response was to send the teenager a lengthy, explosive text message that reads more like something a scorned college student might send to an ex-boyfriend rather than any communication that should ever occur between an adult and a child. The message she sent reveals not only her inappropriate expectations, but also her complete inability to recognize the harm she was causing. I once again, from day effing one called your next girlfriend. You're so effing predictable and disgusting. Shocker. You cheated on me with her. All I was to you was somebody to
Fuck.
I'm not even upset. I'm not mad. I'm not any of that. I've just lost interest. I went back and screenshotted every single time I said that we should break up until after the wedding or after you graduated. And every single effing time you came back and convinced me it would be fine. I initiated every single breakup. And only for you to end things saying that you couldn't get over it. You ruined us. I warned you we should have never started dating a long effing time ago, and you gaslit me and convinced me it would be fine because that's who you are. We will never, ever be together, ever again. I'm not a second choice. I'm the best thing you'll ever have, even with all my mistakes. You once again waited and strung me along until I was convenient for you. It broke me last time. This time it changed me. I'm not sad, effing mad. I let a 16-year-old boy
Fuck.
with me like that. I made a promise that I will never let a guy
Fuck.
with me again, ever again. In the end, we both lost. You lost the girl who have stuck with you through everything thick and thin, who would have changed anything about herself to make you happy, and I lost the person I was before you. This message is disturbing on multiple levels. First, it reveals that Christina genuinely believed she was in a legitimate romantic relationship with a child, referring to their interactions as dating and treating his interest in age-appropriate peers as dasher, infidelity. Second, it shows her attempting to manipulate him by claiming she had tried to end the relationship multiple times, shifting responsibility onto the victim. Third, It demonstrates her complete lack of understanding of the power dynamic and the illegal nature of her actions. The reference to after the wedding or after you graduated is particularly telling, as it shows that even Christina on some level understood that the relationship was problematic and tied to specific life events that would make it more or less complicated. However, rather than recognizing these complications as evidence that the relationship was fundamentally wrong, she treated them as logistical challenges to be navigated. Fortunately, the teenage victim found the strength to end the relationship with Christina following this explosive message. However, Christina's obsession was far from over. In fact, the timing of her wedding would reveal just how deep her psychological fixation had become. Shortly after the relationship with her victim ended, Christina traveled to Italy for her long-planned destination wedding with Michael. This should have been one of the happiest moments of her life, marrying the man who loved her, surrounded by their closest friends and family in a beautiful location they had chosen together. Instead, Christina spent her wedding day consumed with thoughts about the teenager she had abused. During what should have been a celebration of her marriage, Christina locked herself in a bathroom and cried about losing control over the child she had victimized. The image of a bride hiding in a bathroom on her wedding day, sobbing over a teenager while her new husband and wedding guests waited outside, illustrates the depth of her psychological disturbance and obsession. Even more disturbing, Christina took out her phone and wrote manifestation entries in her notes app about the student. On the day she was supposed to be focused on beginning her marriage, she was instead writing about her hopes for reconnecting with her teenage victim. The teen is going to reach out to me soon and try to fix things between us. And in the meantime, I'm going to live my best life knowing that he's not the person I thought he was, and he is beneath me. The fact that she wrote this on her wedding day reveals how completely her obsession had consumed her thoughts and priorities. Even during one of the most significant moments of her adult life, her primary focus remained on maintaining psychological control over a child she had abused. After returning from Italy, Christina and Michael held a second wedding ceremony for friends and family who hadn't been able to attend the destination wedding. Michael remained completely unaware that his new wife had not only cheated on him with a teenager, but was still actively obsessing over the child and hoping to re-establish contact. The level of deception required to maintain this facade while planning and participating in two wedding celebrations demonstrates a profound capacity for manipulation and compartmentalization. 5 months after Christina and her victim had stopped communicating, and 5 months after she had married Michael and should have been focused on beginning her new life as a newlywed, Christina was still writing manifestation entries about the teenager in her phone's notes app. These entries reveal that her obsession had not diminished at all during that period of no contact. This time, Michael and I will connect soon in a positive way. We will both get the closure that we need and move on in a healthy way. We will be able to be a part of each other's lives forever. We will be in each other's lives forever. We will be able to love each other, but also live our own lives. End quote. The language in this entry is particularly disturbing because it frames the relationship in terms of mutual benefit and healthy closure, completely ignoring the fact that she had systematically abused a child. Her use of the word love to describe her feelings toward her victim reveals how completely she had distorted the nature of their relationship in her own mind. The case might have continued indefinitely if not for a stroke of luck in March 2025. The victim's mother bought her son a new iPhone, and after signing into iCloud, discovered a sexually explicit text message thread. The discovery of these messages was accidental but decisive, finally providing concrete evidence of the abuse that had been occurring. Among the messages the mother discovered were exchanges that revealed the true nature of the relationship between her son and his former teacher and tutor. The content was explicit and deeply disturbing, including messages where Christina wrote, "I love you so much, baby," and the victim responded, "I love you so much, Mama." Another message from Christina read, "I love having sex with you," referring to their sexual encounters. Other recovered messages showed the victim describing their physical relationship in detail. "I know, baby, it was perfect, so perfect. I love it so much. It feels so good. It's so passionate. It's so intimate. It is calm. Perfect." These messages provided unmistakable evidence of the sexual relationship between the adult teacher and her teenage student. The victim's mother immediately contacted the Downers Grove Police Department to report what she had discovered. The police launched an investigation, and on March 22, 2025, Christina was arrested. She was arrested on March 16, 2025, and charged with multiple counts of sexual abuse. The arrest occurred while Christina was driving with her husband, Michael, who was completely blindsided by the revelation of his wife's criminal behavior. Body camera footage from the arrest shows Christina appearing shocked and confused, claiming she had no idea why she was being arrested. In the police car, she maintained her innocence, and even attempted to shift blame onto her victim, claiming that he had been the one obsessed with her. She told officers that situations like this happened to her frequently because she was attractive and a good person, a claim that reveals her complete inability to accept responsibility for her actions.
Over here. So, we do have an investigation going on. We have to talk to you about it at the police department, okay? So we're going to explain everything to you there. It's not my investigation. I don't know the full details. We do have to bring you there, though, okay? So I do have to put you in handcuffs and bring you to the police department. Just a down stroke.
Handcuffs?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
I'm like willing to go with you.
I get it, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to do it that way.
During the investigation, police seized Christina's phone and discovered additional evidence of her obsession and inappropriate behavior. Authorities say an app on Formella's cell phone contained a diary about the abuse, providing insight into her mindset throughout the relationship. The diary entries revealed the depth of her psychological fixation and her distorted view of the relationship. The investigation also revealed that Formella told police the victim had taken her phone, sent the message to his phone, deleted it from her phone and saved it to blackmail her, demonstrating her continued attempts to blame the child for the abuse he had suffered. Even more concerning, investigators discovered evidence suggesting that Christina had been engaging in inappropriate behavior with additional students. The discovery of flirtatious conversations with other minors on her phone raised the possibility that there were additional victims who had not yet come forward. This pattern suggests that her abuse of the primary victim was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of predatory behavior. Christina was initially charged with 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse Class 1 felony, 1 count of criminal sexual assault Class 1 felony, and 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse Class 2 felony. However, the charges would continue to mount as investigators uncovered more evidence of her crimes. Christina pleaded not guilty to all charges, maintaining her innocence despite the overwhelming evidence against her. In June 2025, she was indicted on 52 additional charges, bringing the total number of charges to 55. Prosecutors said she faces 60 years in prison if convicted. The timing of these additional charges was particularly significant, as they came right around Christina and Michael's first wedding anniversary. While they should have been celebrating 1 year of marriage, Christina was instead facing the reality that her criminal behavior had destroyed not only her victim's life, but also her own marriage and future. Reports suggest that Michael has continued to publicly support his wife throughout the legal proceedings, though the private reality of their relationship remains unknown. The discovery of Christina's crimes and the ongoing legal process have undoubtedly placed enormous strain on their marriage, regardless of any public statements of support. Understanding the psychological impact of teacher-student sexual abuse is crucial to comprehending the full scope of Christina's crimes. When an adult in a position of authority engages in sexual behavior with a minor, the damage extends far beyond the physical acts themselves. The power dynamic between a teacher and student creates an inherently coercive situation, even if the minor appears to participate willingly. Teachers occupy positions of tremendous trust and authority in young people's lives. Students are taught from an early age to respect and obey their teachers, to seek their approval, and to view them as safe adults who have their best interests at heart. When a teacher violates this trust by engaging in sexual behavior with a student, it can fundamentally alter the victim's ability to trust authority figures and form healthy relationships in the future. For teenage victims of sexual abuse by teachers, the psychological effects can include difficulty forming appropriate romantic relationships, problems with trust and intimacy, increased risk of depression and anxiety, academic difficulties, and long-term trauma responses. The victim may struggle with feelings of guilt and confusion, particularly if they experienced physical pleasure during the abuse or if they initially felt special or chosen by the adult. The grooming process that typically precedes such abuse is evident in Christina's case, through her progression from tutoring to personal communication to sexual contact. can make victims feel complicit in their own abuse. They may believe they somehow invited or encouraged the relationship, when in reality they were being systematically manipulated by an adult who understood exactly how to exploit their vulnerabilities. For male victims specifically, there are additional challenges related to societal attitudes about male sexuality and victimization. Boys who are sexually abused by female teachers often face skepticism about whether they were truly victimized, with some people inappropriately viewing such situations as lucky rather than abusive. This attitude can prevent male victims from seeking help and can compound their trauma by invalidating their experiences. The effects of such abuse can persist well into adulthood, affecting the victim's ability to form healthy romantic relationships, trust appropriate authority figures, and maintain emotional stability. Professional counseling and support are often necessary to help victims process their experiences and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Christina's case also highlights the particular vulnerability of students with special needs, whom she was supposed to be protecting in her role as a special education teacher. Students with disabilities may be at increased risk for abuse due to their potential social isolation, their dependence on adult caregivers, and their possible difficulty understanding or reporting inappropriate behavior. The fact that Christina chose to commit her crimes in her special education classroom adds another layer of violation to her actions. She not only betrayed the trust of her direct victim, but also violated the safe space that other vulnerable students depended on for their education and support. The investigation revealed that Christina's predatory behavior may have extended beyond her primary victim. Prosecutors allege the relationship lasted nearly 2 years, and the discovery of flirtatious communications with other students suggests a pattern of inappropriate behavior that could have affected multiple young people. For parents, Christina's case serves as a reminder of the importance of monitoring their children's communications and being alert to signs that a teacher or other authority figure may be crossing appropriate boundaries. Warning signs can include excessive individual attention, communication outside of normal school channels, gift-giving, requests for secrecy, and attempts to create opportunities for one-on-one time. Schools and educational institutions also bear responsibility for creating systems and safeguards that protect students from predatory behavior by staff members. This includes comprehensive background checks, clear policies about appropriate staff-student interactions, training for recognizing and reporting inappropriate behavior, and creating environments where students feel safe reporting concerns about adult behavior. The legal system's response to Christina's case demonstrates the seriousness with which such crimes are treated. The escalation from initial charges to 55 total felony counts reflects the thoroughness of the investigation and the extent of the alleged criminal behavior. The potential 60-year prison sentence sends a clear message about the consequences of such violations of trust and the protection of minors. Formella's next court appearance is scheduled for August 4, 2025, in front of Judge Mia Macpherson, and the legal proceedings are ongoing. The case serves as a stark reminder that individuals who commit crimes against children will be held accountable for their actions, regardless of their professional status or apparent respectability. The Christina Formella case represents a profound betrayal of trust that has affected not only her direct victim, but also the broader community of students, parents, educators, and community members who believed in her commitment to protecting and nurturing young people. Her actions have caused immeasurable harm to a vulnerable teenager during crucial developmental years and have shattered the trust that communities place in their educators. As this case continues through the legal system, it serves as a critical reminder of the importance of vigilance in protecting our most vulnerable community members, our children. It also highlights the need for continued education, awareness, and systemic changes to prevent such abuse from occurring in the future. The road to healing for Christina's victim will likely be long and challenging, requiring professional support and the understanding of family, friends, and community members. While the legal system works to ensure accountability for these crimes, the broader community must also work to support survivors and create environments where such abuse cannot occur. Christina Formella's case is a devastating reminder that predators can hide behind respectable facades and positions of trust. Her story serves as both a cautionary tale and a call to action for all of us to remain vigilant in protecting the young people in our communities from those who would exploit their vulnerability and trust. The fact that this case is still working its way through the legal system means that the final chapter has yet to be written. However, the evidence that is already being revealed paints a clear picture of systematic abuse, manipulation, and betrayal of trust that will have lasting consequences for everyone involved. As we await the conclusion of the legal proceedings, we must remember that behind these headlines is a real young person whose life has been forever changed by the actions of an adult who was supposed to protect him.